please welcome Ruby Welch.
If you can use anything, Lord, you can use me. If you can use anything, Lord, you can use me. Use my hands, Lord. Use my feet. Touch my heart, Lord. Please speak through me. If you can use anything, Lord, you can use me. Thank you. First of all, I just want to say my government name is Ruby Annette Carter Welch. My state of Arkansas number is inmate 706416. In 1999, I was incarcerated in the Department of Corrections at McPherson, Newport, for 30 years for possession with intent to deliver crack cocaine, 12 grams. Was I guilty? Yes. Am I forgiven? Yes. Today I walk in that forgiveness. That's why my topic is healing while being held hostage. In prison, in the physical prison that I was in, these women that are behind you, 98% of them I did my 7 years with. Every woman that you see behind me is serving a life sentence. These women are the ones who mentored me on how to walk out that system. They helped me heal by allowing me to tell my story of how a young woman who came from a two-family parented home that was focused on education, that had dreams and aspirations of being an RN nurse, of changing the world one person at a time. My dream was never to grow up and be a criminal. That was not my dream as a little girl. But at the age of 8 years old, now I'm going to be real transparent with you all, and I'm going to tell you how we have to heal our women especially. At the age of 8 years old, I was molested by a deacon in the church. Unable to tell anyone because, you know, it's taboo, especially in the African American communities, to talk about certain things. So I just pushed this down. I pushed this down. Then at the age of 11, while saving my 1-year-old baby sister from a stove fire, I was burned over 95% of my body. Wasn't expected to be here, but 57 years mature, here I stand. Came home, had to deal with people, oh, you know, you're ugly, you're Freddy Krueger, you're burned up, and still live with this right now to this day. So I heal every day. My healing has not ended. People say children are cruel, adults are crueler. Adults are crueler. So after I healed with that, then, you know, I went on, I got married, you know, life was great, life was beautiful, so I thought. Ran into a young lady, you know, and she gave me one of these quick, get-rich-quick things, but I was hurting. Didn't realize I was hurting because my father had passed. My father was my best friend. So one thing that I could tell you is hurting people hurt people. I decided I'm not going to hurt anybody by selling drugs. I'm selling them to adults. And that's what I did. But one day, let me back up just a little bit. Well, they got me for the drugs. September the 8th, 1999, my husband was killed. And in fact, so you can get a visual of how much I've healed, at this time right now, 20 years ago, I was placing my husband in his grave. I'm healed on that issue. I'm healed that I can stand before you now, where 20 years ago today, I was no good to anyone. I'm still hostage to a system that says, as a woman, you have to look a certain way. As a woman, you have to act a certain way. As a woman, even just as a human being, we can do certain things to you, and you just have to deal with it. Working as an advocate, I'm going to talk a little bit about the disparities of black and brown women. I had a Caucasian woman sent to me by one of her family members who actually worked for the same facility I was working with that wanted me to get her a job. So, sitting at my desk, the woman says, I said, so what is your charge? She said, I was working for a pharmacy as a tech, and, I was stealing all their narcotics and selling them. I said, so tell me. How much time did you do? This woman said to me, you want me to be honest? I said, that's the only way I live. She said, I've never, ever seen the inside of a jail. Caucasian woman. I stood up from my desk. I said, excuse me for one moment. I was in my flesh. I'm not going to lie about it. I walked out the office. I got on my phone. I called my prayer partner. I said, pray for me right now because I'm not finna try to get this woman no job. I said, because society has given this woman who purposely stole from her employee in order to make a living. I took my money, had to buy my drugs, and had to learn how to flip it. You know what I'm saying? So, you're punishing me because I felt like I needed to make a living in my life. But you didn't punish her when she was taken away from yours. See, I have a problem with that. And I even told her when I came back in there, the only reason why you didn't do time is because of white privilege. A lot of people don't like to hear people speak about this, but I have to. Because, see, this is my healing. Because if I don't, I'm going to still allow white supremacists to hold me hostage. And I refuse to let anyone hold me hostage again in life. Because what can you do to me about speaking my truths? See, I've been to prison. I was born to die. So what do I have fear of now for telling my truths? So we can sit here in our chairs and we can go out and we can be in marches. But until you actually start dealing with who you truly are, like I had to tell myself, yeah, you ugly. Yeah, you could, in your ways. Yeah, you can be nasty in the way you speak to people. Yeah, you're prideful. Yeah, you're hateful. I had to do this this is how I healed. I healed. And I allowed these women to tell me about my blind spots. I would ask them, how have I been acting this week? And whatever they said, I didn't mouth back to them. This is what's wrong with our society. Everybody knows what's right for everybody except for who they're talking about. I hate for people to talk about what formerly incarcerated people need. How do you know? How do you know? I came home, I couldn't get insurance. I couldn't get food stamps. I couldn't get housing. Why? Because I didn't have no children. My husband had gotten killed 6 months before I went to prison. I was incarcerated for 7 years. And you know what they told me in prison? This is part of my healing while being held hostage. On my husband's birthday, 2000, because I went in 99, 2000, January 10, 2000, I was just really emotional about his birthday, really emotional. I'm sitting in his class, and so I walk up to the instructor, and I said, I can't do this. Can I please go back to my barracks and lay down for the day? This person looked at me and said, deal with it. So for those of you who have people, I know of people that are going into incarceration, for you to think that you're going to get better people out of these people every single time is foolishness. There is no rehabilitation in prison. There is no one who I could talk to about when I was an 8-year-old girl who protected me, except for these women that we are still holding hostage while they are healing. And not only are they healing, they're healing women like me, who didn't know that I could get honest, I could get raw, I could just throw up all over them and walk out that door and leave my garbage at 302 Weckenhut Way. And I thank these women. And I think the state of Arkansas is deathly wrong, because life should not mean death behind those walls. How can you tell our society that we are good people, especially those of us who are calling yourselves Christians? I got a problem with you. A big problem. And you want to sit up and go vote. And you don't vote for the person that's right. You vote for who you like. If it's a black or brown person speaking too much religion, but not talking enough about, well, they do the crime, they got to do the time, guess who you're going to vote for? You're going to vote for the one to say lock them away and keep them away. And you're wrong. And you're wrong. And I'm going to stand before you and tell you wrong. Because a lot of these women that have life sentences, that fought for their lives, and some of them killed in order for them to have their lives, I'd rather live beside them, eat with them every day than some of you in this audience. Hostage. Being held until the ransom is paid. How many of you can sit right here and honestly, don't look at me, look at yourself and say, I have never, ever committed a crime. Never, ever. As long as I've been breathing, I have never, ever committed a crime. No, you can't do it. You don't even want anybody to know what your crime was, because you're ashamed. But see, when you get tried and convicted, you become public property. I listen to people talk about banning the box. Like I told one lady, it's okay. But guess what? Google Ruby and Carter Welch. So, ban the box is good, but an employee can Google me and still come back and say, I'm not going to hire you, which has happened. So, I'm still hostage in certain areas of employment. I am still on parole with the work that I do. I work with the policemen. I work with sheriffs. I talk at the state capitol. I'm out here. My boots are to the ground, and I don't get paid for the work that I do. But I am here to make a difference in the world because I created a problem. Guess what? I am the solution. When I looked at those women in TC and what they did to me, it's a therapeutic community. What they did to me one time, they took me to classification, and it's where you get new job duties. I worked in a beauty salon for a long time because I'm a cosmetology instructor. And I know y'all really could tell that, couldn't you? But anyhow, I worked in a beauty salon for a long time, but I lived in a program that was called PALS, and it was Principles and Applications for Life. And I'm going to be transparent, and I'm going to be real honest and say this. And the gentleman that taught me, Chaplain Kenneth DeWitt, right now, yes, he is in prison. But I will tell you, people can say what they want to say about that man because none of us are perfect. And like I said, sweep around your own front door before you come sweep around mine. But that man fought me for my own soul. And I thank him because it was in prison that I found my freedom. That I found out that I didn't have to make other people happy. And I continue to hurt. But when I went to classification, they said, well, Ruby, you've been teaching in PAL for years. You're a character coach. You're trustee status. So we're going to make you a mentor in TC. And I'm looking at these people like, y'all crazy. Y'all know them women don't like me because I've never used drugs. Never. I smoked hold on, let me change that. I smoked 2 joints in my life. Once when I was 16 and once when I was 24, okay? 16, I got paid $20 to smoke. At 24, I smoked a joint with my husband. My husband told me he'd never smoke a joint with me again in life because I was reversed. I speeded up. I was cleaning the house with toothbrushes and everything else, so I don't get high. But so these women knew my story that I never got high. So if you don't get high, it's cliques in prison also, okay? Cliques. It's cliques. So I wasn't part of the clique, but they put me in this program with these 74 other women, and I'm their mentor. They're to look at me because, I've changed, I'm a godly woman. I teach women how to be virtuous women, and she's never used drugs, so she's going to walk out down. These women hated my guts. I was so miserable in there until I looked around one day, and I saw the destruction I did. When I saw that my God didn't place me there for me to teach them, I was there for them to teach me. I went before these ladies the next morning and asked for their apology. Even though I was not directly the reason for their addictions, indirectly, I caused the problem. Just as each and every one of us in this room have indirectly caused some problems on a lot of people, and until we wake up and change our mindsets in our hearts, we are going to really, really, really miss peace by 18 inches. Isn't that sad? That just connecting your mind with your heart, 18 inches will give you total peace. After I got out of prison, I went to Hot Springs, Arkansas. The first thing I did, they had a Martin Luther King march. I was running around saying, who running this? Who running this? Who running this? I got to get on stage. I got to get on stage. And it was like, what is wrong? Who is this crazy woman? It's like, oh, girl, that's one of them kind of girls. She'll be all right, but let her get on stage. And so they let me on stage, and I had all, the city officials sitting behind me and all these people in the audience. And the only thing that I needed to do is what I purposed to do in prison, which is the same thing I'm doing today. I went before these men and women and I said, I apologize. Will you forgive me for what I've done to the city of Hot Springs? And that's all I'm asking you right now. To forgive me for what I've done and learn how to forgive these women and have some empathy and understand that you have to get into a mind in order to realize what's going on in the heart. People don't just commit crimes just because. No one have I talked to, especially women, because women have to think a long time about what they're going to do. Because we want to make sure when we do it, we know we only got one shot at it. So we want to make real sure when we do it, it's done. So that's why you have to look, when you look at the criminal justice system, you have to look at it differently when you're looking at women and when you're looking at men. Because a man ain't going to sit there and argue back to back. They're going to just go and do what they got to do and go about their business. So you got to realize, people, if you don't get out and take care of what I can't do, I can't vote. So I'm begging each and every one of you, vote for me. Vote for me. If you don't do anything else, vote for Ruby and DecARcerate Welch, because if I could, I would. Because I know who and what we need in office. Quit voting your friends in. Quit voting your friends or your friends or your friends in. Quit voting somebody in because you think they're going to line your pocket, because if you notice lately, they done start locking them up. And see, what I do is if I find out any evil that's going on within anything out here that I'm involved in, I'm going to tell on you. I'm going to tell on you. So you ain't even got to worry. I go to the transitional houses. I look at everything. But I just want you all to know that I thank you for allowing me to be before you. I thank several of you for being a part of my healing. I love Judge Wendell Griffin, and he doesn't even know. When I first saw him do, he talked, and the end of it was he played the song, I'm Looking at the Man in the Mirror. And that's what I'm going to leave you all with. Everybody, go home and look at your man in the mirror.